Welcome to the Post-Oscars Review Ticket Squad. Today we're going to take a look back at my Oscar predictions and show how well I've done compared to the last couple
years. And we'll take a look at 6 takeaways from the last ceremony, as well as a look at how the Oscars were distributed. One more time, at least in November, it's time to look at the Oscar roadmap. We'll start with the shorts and work our way through Best Picture and Director. We'll start by listing the predictions that are correct and then the ones I missed. For those, the one in parentheses were my predictions. Let's begin through the shorts. I went 2 for 3 there with wins in animated short for War is Over and in documentary short for The Last Repair Shop. However, I missed live action short, which went to The Wonderful World of Henry Sugar. Congrats to Wes Anderson for finally winning his first Oscar. Instead, I went with the emotional, topical Red, White, and Blue to win that particular category. For other Best Pictures, I went 2 for 3 again. I did get correct the wins for 20 Days of Mirrorball for documentary feature and the Zone of Interest for international feature. No big surprises for either one. However, I missed on animation feature as voters went for The Boy and the Heron, giving Hayao Miyazaki his second Oscar. He won his first with Spirited Away in 2002. I ended up predicting that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the nominal favorite in the category, would win that one. Next up are the audio portions. Once again, I went 2 for 3. To the surprise of few, Oppenheimer won Best Score, and it was What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish from Barbie winning Best Song. Both of those were heavy favorites, but in perhaps the night's big surprise, The Zone of Interest shocked when it won Best Sound over Oppenheimer. Usually, voters tend to like flash over subtlety, so that's why I went with Oppenheimer prevailing here. But hey, I've seen those who have seen Zone say that was a really well done aspect of the film. So congrats on it winning a second award on the night. Next up are the visual portions of Oscar. I went 4 for 6. To be fair, both of those misses were understandable. And the ones I got right, cinematography and film editing, were no shockers, as Oppenheimer coined both, as many rightfully expected. I did get 2 of the 3 coin flip categories in visuals, as Poor Things coined makeup, which ended up beating Maestro, and costume design, which bested Barbie. Where I missed was production design. I thought that Barbie would take that one to split the difference with Poor Things. Instead, Poor Things took all 3 of the coin flips. And the other one was visual effects, where I predicted it would be the creator, who had done pretty well with the Guild wins, would prevail, winning the Oscar. Instead, they went with Godzilla -1, which managed its effects on a much smaller budget. Props to Toho and the film's director, Takashi Yamakaze, for also working on the effects. Over in screenplays, there's nothing much to talk about, as I went 2 for 2. I don't think anybody was going to be shocked that Anatomy of a Fall would win original screenplay. But there were a lot of questions about adapted screenplay, as some thought that Oppenheimer would take it as part of a great night for the film,
And others thought that Barbie would get it as compensation for snubbing Greta Gerwig for director. But as the race went on, things started to come together for American Fiction to win adapted, and that is the screenplay that prevailed. Over in acting, I went 3 for 4, once again missing out on 1. In the categories I got right, nobody would be shocked that Divine Joy Randolph and Robert Downey Jr. would win in the supporting categories. Both were dominant precursors, and there was nothing to indicate things were changing before the results came in. As I predicted in my prediction video, that late surge in Baptists and SGAs hinted that Cillian Murphy would prevail for Oppenheimer, and indeed, Oscar agreed. So what happened for Best Actress? I think it was more a matter of Emma Stone was too far ahead heading into the SGAs, and although Lily Gladstone did take that award, she wasn't able to catch up in time. And apparently Martin Scorsese films tend to be generally magnets for nominations, but not Oscars. So congrats on Emma on winning her second award. Nobody is really shocked by the last 2 categories here. Best Director was a cakewalk for Christopher Nolan to finally win his first Oscar. And he won a second as a producer for Best Picture as Oppenheimer just steamrolled the opposition to prevail. Alright, let's take a look at the Oscar final count here. Oppenheimer got 7, winning the day there, and again, nobody's real surprised. I thought it was going to be 8. There were some I think that predicted to be more like 10. But I guess they did spread things out a little bit. Poor Things ended up winning 4 Oscars, including Best Actress and a couple of the below the line categories. Zone of Interest won 2. And a lot of the others, as you can see on that screen, won 1. The 3 big films that kind of got zipped out would be The Killers of the Flower Moon, Past Lives, and Maestro, along with other films like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And let's take a look at what I did for the year. As you can see, I matched last year's number of going 17 for 23, which I'm a little disappointed by that. I put a lot more effort into it this year than I did last, and I felt like I was getting the hang of things and everything, but as it turns out, it's the same number as 2 years as last year. Obviously, 2 years ago, I did better there. And finally, let's take a look at the takeaways from this Oscar ceremony for the future. I think number 1, we won't have to wait to September for Best Picture potential nominees to drop. In March 25th, 2022, Everything Everywhere All at Once dropped in theaters. This year, we had a Best Picture nominee that came out on June 2nd, Past Lives. And then 2 more, Barbie and Oppenheimer, were released on July 21st. Hopefully, this should mean that Oscar contenders can be spread out more and maybe as a result of that, make more money at the box office and have the whole thing not turn into one big destruction derby that begins at the start of September. Number 2, I feel like voters are ready to show more love to the Best Picture winner. Everything Everywhere All at Once and Oppenheimer both received 7 Oscar wins, including Best Picture. But for the last few Best Picture winners prior to that one, Coda and Nomadland got 3 apiece, and Parasite got 4. Number 3. The increase in international voters are definitely having an effect, not just in determining Best Picture nominees, but in other awards throughout the Oscar ceremony. In years past, before the voters got more diversified, I didn't see foreign films getting nominated for screenplays, director, sound, and even Best Picture, let alone winning them. And of course, they made their way in other categories, like, for example, Society of Snow this year in makeup. And I feel like international voters might explain part of the reason why The Boy and the Heron prevailed over Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Number 4, I think we're still struggling to find the right host for the Oscars. From what I heard, Jimmy Kimmel was rough in spots during his ceremony. And honestly, it kind of felt like John Mulaney was using his time offering an award to audition for next year's spot. I think one thing's for sure, though. Gone are the days we can hand the baton to Billy Crystal or Bob Hope and call it good for a number of years. Number 5, the in memoriam segment definitely needs to be badly reworked. Whether it was all the names in small print towards the end, or the camera focusing on the musicians and dancing over the people being honored. A lot of people were unhappy with how this was done. I think the solution is easy. Focus the segment on the stars who have passed in the last year. Period. Number 6. I think Apple is going to start cutting back on the budgets they make on the movies that they make after the ceremony. Spending $200 million apiece on Killers of the Flower Moon and Napoleon is definitely a rough look for the streamer when they A, can't walk away with a single award, and B, they're losing big time on the box office. Considering their struggles with Argo in February, I can see someone in the company doing some cutbacks. After all, Coda, which did win Best Picture in 2022, only cost $10 million to make. I think they'll continue to make provocative, interesting stories, but only at a budget that'll make it easier to turn a profit. Speaking of mood, and I'll throw in past lives as well, don't be too upset that your favorite film got shut out at the Oscars. At the end of the day, awards are just that, gold trophies. Films like The Shawshank Redemption, American Psycho, Rear Window, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Memento, Heat, Fight Club, and The Big Lebowski remain memorable decades later, despite the fact that each of them won 0 Oscars. If your film is built to last, then it too can withstand being ignored by the Academy. And the same goes to other films that didn't even get a single nomination this year. Films like The Iron Claw, Saltburn, Origin, and 1001. This is Tickets Please Reviews. The booth is now closed.